You gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
So, hello, and thanks for joining this morning. We're going to start lying down on our backs with the soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent, and they can be either wide, the outer edges of your mat, or parallel. And last week we worked on our feet and our legs. So we're still going to really feel our feet and our legs in our practice today, but we are moving up the body towards the hips, the pelvis, the lower back, and a little bit into the waist. So just allow yourself now time to settle the spine. I know that you've been, in bed most of the night sleeping, and you've been lying on your back, lying on your side, lying on your front. However you lie, just really now feel your body connection. So as Janatomy continues, January, our theme of working with our own bodies, and that's your own bodies, no one else's, of course. You are unique. And we want to be able to be, aware of how our body moves through our postures, when we breathe, when we sit, when we stand. So allow a steady breath, breathing in and out of the nostrils. There's no forcing of the breath. Breath flows naturally in through the nose, all the way down the spine, into the legs, into the feet. And as you exhale, you allow a sense of deepening your relaxation and release and letting go. So if you notice that you might be tensing any part of the body here, take the breath to that area of the body and let go just a little bit more. And as we come together today to take some time to move our bodies are a gift, and it is important to take care of them. We can choose to move in so many ways. Find what works best for you and spend the time to give your body some love and movement. Your mind will thank you by becoming clearer, and it is easy to stay put. But movement makes the day feel richer. Our bodies feel stronger and our minds more aware. Find your way to move today. So when we start to work with the pelvis, the hips, and the lower back, we have a little bit more free movement. Finding a little bit more flow, moving as is comfortable for you. Try to release and relax into the pelvis here. Feel the weight of the pelvis connecting to the ground. Let's take 10 Dirga Swasam 3-part yogic breaths. You can, of course, bring the hands up onto the body to really feel the 3-part yogic breathing. And the left hand might come to the heart space on the chest. The right hand may come to the belly. So 3-part yogic breath starts in the abdomen, moves up to the diaphragm, and then moves into the chest. Let's breathe all together, releasing the breath out. Breathe in, belly, diaphragm, and chest, all in one smooth breath. As you breathe out, chest deflates, diaphragm rises, and belly deflates. 9 more at your own pace of breath. Feel every part of the spine breathe with you. And last breath here, breathing out, releasing the hands by the side of the body. Wherever you had the feet and the legs, just bring them back up into parallel. Release and drop the pelvis a little bit more so you can really feel the bowl of the pelvis planting and grounding itself into the mat. Gently draw the right and the left knee in towards the chest. And just widen the knees here so that you have this space for the belly to breathe. And you can start to gently pull the knees towards the shoulders, trying not to lift the tailbone here, but lengthening the tailbone down to the mat. So you really spread out the shoulder blades, spread out the upper and middle back, relax the waist, spread out the lower back. Try to feel what's going on into the flexion of your hips here. And then start to gently circle the knees out to the side. So we draw the knees in towards together, in towards the chest, and then out to the side. In together, in towards the chest, and then open out to the side. So again, really observing what's going on into the hips, the spine, the pelvis. Just mobilizing a little bit through the hip socket. And then circling the other way. So noticing any clicks, crunches, smooth movement, as if you're kind of oiling and lubricating the ball and socket of the hip. And then come back into center. This time knees stay together. You might interlace the fingers over the top of the shins, or if you can reach, you might be able to take hold of the elbows. So you squeeze yourself into a really tight ball, maybe lifting the head and the neck away from the mat. Draw the forehead towards the knees. The tailbone might start to lift, so you're starting to get a little curl through the spine. Breathe. You're compressing the thighs against the belly, so sometimes always a little bit difficult to breathe here, but really find the breath. And then release the pelvis, release the head and neck, release the feet. Arms come out to the side, palms face up. Just gently drop the knees over to one side. So roll over onto the outer and inner edges of your feet. Just notice the side body opening up into the IT band, into the outer hip. And we're allowing gravity here. We're not pulling the legs down by using the hands. And maybe the knees are separated, maybe they're together. Just holding, breathing, feeling. Notice where you feel the stretches, feel the pulls. And then roll the feet back. And the hips and pelvis come back, and then roll to the other side. So again, just dropping knees over, rolling onto the outer and inner edges of the foot. So feet stay where they are in line with the hips technically. Again, the knees might come together. Everybody's hips are different. Try to relax that top leg. There's no tension in the muscles. You're letting the leg be heavy. And then gently breathe in, bring back into center. Place the soles of the feet together. Take them a little bit further away from the body. So you have this diamond shape in our reclined butterfly pose. Maybe the toes touch, the balls of the feet and the heels touch. And bring the hands up onto the hips, or you might take them underneath the thighs. So here we're just going to start to lift the legs, and you can use the hips to do that and place the feet and the knees together. So gently open, feet touch, relax into the hips. If you have a natural opening through the spine, your natural lordosis, that's okay, but I want you to really relax into the hips themselves. And then again, lifting them together, place the knees, soles of the feet, realign the hips. Once more, open up, relax the knees out. And then lifting up, notice what happens into the hip flexors here to lift the legs. Ordinarily, I would ask you to lift the legs together, but this time I want you to feel the hip flexors doing the work for you. And then last time, open out, let's hold for 3 to 5 breaths. Try to relax the hips. You don't have to draw the belly in towards the spine to draw the spine down. Notice what happens when the legs become heavy. The knees just gently fall out to the side. So again, just noticing how the back responds to the hips, responds to the knees, all connected. And then from here, lift the knees towards your shoulders. We're going to come into the happy baby. So from here, keep the knees open, draw the knees back. Notice what happens with the hips there. Lift the feet up to the sky. Maybe take hold of the outer edges of the feet or the calf or the thigh, and then just rock and roll from one side. So maybe the knee drops down towards the mat. Relax the face and the neck here. And then bringing yourself back into center, lengthen the tailbone, relax the head back, and press the soles of the feet up towards the sky. So you've got that dorsiflexion into the foot, and you're drawing the knees downwards to the outer rib cage. Try to breathe into those tight areas. And then keep the right foot where it is. Release the left foot all the way along the mat. Stretch it along so you can really feel that hip flexor then stretching. And then we're just going to mobilize a little bit into that hip and knee just solely. So you can move the foot, move the leg. You might circle into the ankle, circle into the knee. Just doing circles and circle into the hip. And we're going to take a twist over to the left side, take the left hand over onto the right knee, And then just drop the knee, drop the foot down. You might be able to support it with a block or a cushion. And then start to open up the right arm as you open up the chest. Feel the spine here, the lower back twisting, the middle back twisting, and the upper back. And the neck, if you wish to, you can always look towards the right hand if the neck allows. Again, relaxing into the outer thigh, outer hip here. One last breath. Bring yourself back into center and bring both knees back in and wide once more for your happy baby. Repeating that happy baby, rolling left to right. Bringing the knee down, mobilizing a little bit through the lower back, and then come back into center. Draw the knees down towards the outer rib cage. Press the feet up towards the sky. Keep the left foot in this time and release the right heel. Stretch it all the way along the mat. Feel that hip flexor now starting to stretch. And then again, you can hold onto the back of the thigh as you start to mobilize the foot and ankle, circling through the knee one way and the other, and then circling into the hip one way and the other. And it's how you wish to move today. And then finding that twist, rolling over onto the right hip and opening up left arm. Relaxing into the spine, into the outer hip, outer thigh. One last breath. So we're really looking at pelvic stability through the practice today. So really being aware of when the pelvis starts to tilt or twist, bringing yourself back into center. Place the soles of the feet down once more. Pelvic tilts, posterior and anterior. So when the posterior tilt goes, we're lifting up the pubic bone. We're really scooping up through the belly. And then when you're anterior tilt, you release the pelvis and you draw the tailbone back underneath you. So that's when your natural arching of the spine. So mobilize. It's like a cat and cow. So here would be your cat. And here, your anterior tilt would be your cow. If you wish, you can bring the arms back into cactus, pressing into the soles of the feet, relaxing the toes. So the 5 lower lumbar vertebrae are the largest. They're also the most immobile of the spine. And then you come down into the sacroiliac joint and the SI vertebrae, sacral vertebrae. And then the coccyx is right down at the bottom, the tailbone. So we want to feel those 5 discs between those lumbar and sacral vertebrae starting to loosen up. Breathe. Our discs are the most plump in the morning. By the end of the day, after we've been standing a lot, they become more compressed. So that's why sometimes in the morning you might feel that your back doesn't actually move like mine. And then gently release. You can keep your hands in cactus if you wish, or you can bring them back for your bridge pose. We're going to press into the feet, start to roll up. And again, pubic bone raises, scooping up through the belly, engaging glutes, lifting up, sending the knees forward, come into your bridge pose, and really feel the neck nice and long here, relaxing through the face. And the feet are underneath the knees. Knees are in line with hips. Hips are in line with shoulders. Couple of breaths. Really feel strong through the center body here. So lower back, core and waist. And start to roll down, shoulder blades, upper back, middle back, keeping that pubic bone and tailbone lifted away from the mat until the last possible moment you bring it down. Draw the knees in, roll and massage out, and then roll over to one side. We're going to bring ourselves up to tabletop. So finding all fours or tabletop position, hands are underneath the shoulders, knees are underneath the hips. And then find that cat and cow, those posterior and anterior tilts here. So breathing in, trying not to really jolt the neck here, but looking forward to the mat, and then exhale, really curl through the spine as you round the shoulders and suck up the belly. Again, mobilizing the way your body wants to move this morning. Last time, inhaling for your cow, exhaling for your cat. Coming back into neutral, let's find a wide leg child's pose. Knees go wide, big toes to touch. Release the hips back, stretch the body, and then reach the fingertips forward and then press the chest down. And you can relax the head on a block or onto the mat here. And try to press the sit bones back towards the heels as somebody's pulling your fingertips forward. So you're really lengthening the spine here as much as you can, relaxing into the glutes, the legs, the feet. Whilst you're here, when the forehead connects in towards the earth, we can maybe bringing an intention to practice, whatever that is for you. I am free. I am finding flow. Something to do with your body being fluid and moving as it needs to. And then bring yourself up into tabletop once more. This time, circle the hips forward and back. We're going to roll the hips forward as you inhale, roll them back. The body can become involved, the head and the neck might become involved as well. Yeah. And then circling the other way. Breathe out as you go back. Breathe in as you come forward. Move the way your body wants to. And bring yourself back into tabletop. Let's find some pelvic stability here, lifting up the left arm, threading the needle through. So drawing that hand over, keeping the hips nice and stable up above the knees. Hand may stay by the ear, or you can release it forward. And then keep the ear nice and soft here, opening up a little bit to the side body. And then breathing in, bringing yourself back up into tabletop position, lifting up the right arm this time. Open the side body and thread it through, send it all the way along the mat, and then choosing to keep the left hand by the ear or stretching it forward. And the hand back, if you stretched it forward to press up, back into tabletop. By bringing the right foot forward this time. So you can either place the foot facing forward, you can wing it out to the side, which means that the knee would track the middle toe. You can kickstand the back knee if that feels comfortable. And if you're on a hard surface, pad out your knee underneath you. Again, starting to rock forwards towards the heel and back. So starting to get into the hamstrings, hips, and circling the other way. And then find stillness here. And from here, you can start to bring that left knee back. Bring the right foot to the outer edge of your mat. You can soften through the back of the knee if you like. Keep the hips nice and in line with your back knee. And you can use a block if you have one handy. We're going to start to reach forward and draw the body downwards. So you're going to start to pull the hips back, but not back towards the heel. So stretching through the spine. Maybe the hands come down onto the mat, drawing those front toes up towards the sky. And then releasing into your lizard. So dropping hips forward. Realign the foot once more. So foot is underneath your knee. Dropping hips down towards the mat, opening up the chest. Again, neck is in line with the spine. And you're dropping the hips downwards towards the earth. If you wish to here, you can come down onto your forearms or onto blocks. If you are coming down, notice if your left shoulder is dropping more than your right. You want to try and keep the stability through the pelvis so the left side is not dropping more than the right. So keep the right hip drawing down, left hip up, up. Same with shoulders. Then maybe you tuck that back toe. Really get the toe beds underneath you, just as we did last week. You lift the knee and you start to rock forwards and back. And then maybe you find that stillness and hold. So you're pressing back through the heel. So that back leg is nice and long. You can always keep that knee down and still press through the feet and the sole of the foot. Keep the left hip lifted, right hip dropping. And then whether the knee's down or knee is off the mat, you can come back up onto your blocks or onto your fingertips. Drop the hips a little bit more. Gentle back bend, draw in through the abdomen here and looking forward, lifting the gaze. Nice high lizard. And then release the back knee. Left hand comes to a little bit forward of your shoulder. We're going to come into a monkey twist. So we sweep that arm back around. It can stay there and you can stretch back towards the toes. Your choice here, if you wish to, you can lift the back foot and draw that heel in towards the buttock or press it away. Feel both. Draw the heel in, deeper stretch into the quadricep. If you press it away, opening up through the hamstring. Open the chest to the sky. Roll the right shoulder nice and open. Good. Drop the hips a little bit more towards the earth. Yes. Slowly release the hand, release the foot, bring the hand back towards the center, and then lift back. This is where we're going to lift the foot and sweep it all the way back around. That's where your pelvis, changes its direction, and you come back into your tiger pose again. Maybe the left arm takes hold of right foot, and you open up the chest here. So pelvis is nice and stable, but the right hip is opening. You're lifting up the right knee, pressing away from the mat with your right hand and left shin and foot. Slowly release the hand and release back. Take a wide leg child's pose. Sway out through the spine, the waist. And so let's repeat. That's on the left. Let's come to the other side. So left leg comes forward. Again, you can either face that forward or you can wing it. You can kickstand the back foot, pad out under the knees, start to circle through the hips, forward and back. And as we switch sides, just notice which side may have a little bit more freedom, fluidity. And then last time, find stillness, bring the back foot back in line, lift the heel, lift the toes, press into the heel, and then you can start to reach the fingertips forward as you come into that fold. Breathe out, relax the head between the biceps. And then gently bend through the front left knee. Maybe realign that foot if you need to underneath the knee, dropping into your lizard. And then coming down onto the forearms if you wish, or blocks. Remember, trying not to drop the right hip this time, so keeping the right hip up. Left hip drops down. And again, shoulders nice and stable as well. So you're really lifting up through the right side of your body. Drop the hips a little bit more together, not one side only. And then if you wish, tucking that back toe, and you can stay there, tucking the back toe with the knee down, or you might just lift the knee and lengthen the leg a bit more, pressing back, rolling forwards on the toes. Come into stillness and hold. Long line between the head, shoulders, hips, and heel. And coming up onto the fingertips, blocks or palms, coming up into a high lizard. Draw the abdomen back in towards the lower back. Protect your lower back here. Drop the hips a little bit more. Open the chest and roll the shoulders from the ears. Gently release the knee. Let's come into monkey twist. Right hand comes about 45 degrees angle, a little way away from the shoulder. Open up left arm, sweep it back, open the chest and shoulder. Choose to stay here, or you can lift the foot. Drawing in towards the buttock for the deeper thigh stretch, or pressing away and dropping the hips a little bit more. Good. Take your time with each of these. It's finding fluidity and flow, free movement. And gently release the hand, release the foot. So you're going to bring yourself back into the tabletop so that you can start to lift that left leg up in front of you, sweep it all the way back around. It opens up as you come into tiger, and the right arm might release to take hold of left foot. Press the foot into the hand, lift the chest, not the head. Press away from the mat. Slowly release. Good. Let's bring the knees together this time. Toes and ankles touch, and sweep the hands back around you. Maybe the hands come into the base of the sacrum here, and you can just rest the head down. Lengthen the belly and the thighs away from one another so that you can still breathe. And then let's release. Roll up through the spine. Whew. So, warming up our hips, getting that pelvic stabilization just a little bit. Let's move me mat a bit more. Okay, so bringing the right foot forward, tucking the back toe. I'm going to start to come up into a pyramid pose. So maybe you have 2 blocks by the side of your right foot. Then just lift up, bring the feet together, and maybe your choice here, you can keep the foot parallel, but I would bring it in so that you bring the heel down, or you take it 45 degrees. So notice what happens here to the left hip as you take that 45 degrees, because sometimes the hip starts to open. We want to draw that left side of the hip down so that you've got a nice flat pelvis here, and having a block on your pelvis really helps you kind of get that position. So spine is long. Okay, start to release the front toes, release through the pelvis, let the pelvis be heavy. You might soften through the front right knee. Crown of the head reaches forward, spine is long. Breathing, holding. Lift the abdomen. And then from here, we are going to release into the fold. So slowly giving you space from the belly to the thigh, release the body down. So you're imagining that the forehead is coming down towards the foot, the chest is coming down towards the chin, and your belly is coming down towards your knee. That's the visualization. That's obviously not what's happening, but if you visualize that, you get a little bit more length through the spine. Relax the head. Let it, yes and no. Holding, breathing. Come into a revolved triangle from here. So maybe using the block either on the inside of the foot or the outside, or if you don't need the block, that's okay. You can use your fingertips on the inside. Outside is more challenging. Right hand comes to the sacrum. Really feel the flatness of the back of the pelvis here. As you start to rotate the chest, the rib cage, opening up through the chest, the armpit. Hand can stay on the sacrum, or you might release that top arm up towards the sky. And you're facing the same way as your palm is. So really use the rotation through the rib cage. Nice. Holding, breathing. And gently release the hands. Bring yourself back into center. You can bring the block into the center. We're going to turn towards the side of the mats. So toes turn inwards, heels turn out. Again, nice long spine here. So lifting the belly, protecting the lower back. We're not dipping or we're not arching through the spine. And just notice if you drop the hip left and right. So you're kind of wiggling the bum. So hips left and right, knees might be bent, that's okay. So you're just dropping a hip left and right. And then find stillness. Fingertips may come to the mat here. Crown of the head reaches away. Turn the heels out. You can always wiggle those feet a little bit wider if you feel comfortable. And again, bending the knees softens through the back of the hamstrings. So keeping the spine long, reach the fingertips forward, and then press the chest down towards the mat. So it's like a really wide leg, downward facing dog. Sit bones lifting up towards the sky. Forehead pressing down towards the mat. And then walking the hands back in towards the center. Your right hand stays into the center. Your left hand comes to the sacrum. Again, we're twisting towards the left foot. Open up the chest. And again, you have that option of releasing the hand if the shoulder allows. So really open up. So the wrist is in alignment with the shoulder and the shoulder is in alignment with the underneath hand. And we're not twisting through the pelvis either. So if you had that block on the pelvis, that is not moving. So block is staying exactly where it is, breathing, releasing toes, releasing, relaxing toes. Lifting abdomen, protecting spine, good. And release the hand down. Let's come to the other side. So right hand comes to sacrum, starting to twist towards the right foot. And then lifting hand, if you feel comfortable, palm faces the same way you do. And imagine that somebody's kind of pulling your hand backwards, opening up the left side of your body. Good. And gently bring the hand back. If you had the block on the pelvis, release that. And just give your legs a little shake right to left. So we are going to turn towards the other side of the mat. So you may be facing backwards. Take the block with you because we're going to go into that pyramid position and triangle. So again, finding the feet position that's most comfortable for you, but both feet are grounded. So whether both feet are facing forward or the back foot is at 45 degrees. Again, test that little pelvic tilt with the block and really draw the right hip forward, left hip back. Spine is long here, crown of the head reaches forward. Lifting abdomen, opening chest. Really ground through the back heel, really drawing that heel downwards so the foot is completely flat, whether it's facing forward or out to the side at 45 degrees. Lengthen the spine. Breathe out, relax the body down. Imagine head coming to the ankle or the foot. Chest comes down towards the shin. And then finding the revolved triangle, either with the block or your fingertips. Left hand comes to the sacrum. Make sure that's nice and flat. Open up through the left side. Really ground through the back foot. We're not dropping hips here. Opening up towards the sky or looking down at the foot, more stability. Releasing the hand if you feel comfortable. Really draw that right foot down. And release the hand. Bend the front knee. Turn back towards the side of your mat once more. And then this time we're going to drop into a side squat. So you can turn the foot out, dropping into the knee, dropping hips. That foot, it can do what feels more comfortable. If it's lifting up to the heel, or if it's facing forward, or if it's facing to the side. Think about the connectivity of the ankle to the knee to the hip. So it's better if you roll the foot outwards and the foot is nice and flat. Good. Release the hands to change. Bring yourself back through straight legs and then turn the other foot out. Skandasana on the other side. And you can be high in Skandasanas. You don't have to be too low. Bring yourself back into center. Heel toe the feet into parallel. And when you get there, underneath the hips, take a full fold. Relax the belly, the chest over the thighs. And you can take the hands behind your knees here. As you draw the belly and the chest towards the thighs, let the head relax, yes and no, into the head. And as you start to straighten the legs, if the arms are behind the knees, you're going to press the knees gently back towards the forearms. Lifting sit bones. Relaxing spine. Relaxing toes. And release hands. And widen the feet to Malasana. Drop the hips down. We did this one last week, so remember the feet position. They're not rolling forward, they are rolling back. Hands come into the heart center. Good. Lengthen spine. Dropping hips down, maybe engaging Mula Bandha here. Releasing hands, lifting hips, heel toe feet together. And then bend knees and start to roll up through the spine. And again, drawing the belly back towards the spine as you roll up. We're going to turn to the front of the mat. And this time we're going to come down into a low lunge. So releasing back toes, lifting arms up, just staying here for a moment, finding that 90-degree bend, front and back knee. So bringing hands in towards the center, start to drop the hips forward. We're going to come into a twisted lunge. So left elbow comes to the right knee. Start to turn the body into the twist. Draw the hands in towards the chest. Maybe the gaze goes up to the right elbow or to the sky, dropping hips forward. And just take a look. See now if your knee tracks over your ankle. So maybe just bringing that foot forward just a little bit. So again, pelvis drops. Nice flatness here. You can take the hand if you prefer to place into the sacrum. And then sweeping the hands back. Release the hands, change sides. Left foot forward. So 90-degree bend in front and back knees, nice long spine here. Hands come into the heart. Start to take the twist towards the side. Then bring the elbow down, pressing the chest forwards into the palms and the palms into the chest. Then start dropping the hips forward. And again, you can choose to replace that hand to the sacrum. And release forward, sweep the hands up, and release the legs. Back into a high kneel. Take the hands to the base of the spine. Just push the pelvis forward. So we really want to stretch the hips here, stretch the abdominals, stretch the psoas, lift the heart. Little camel. Doesn't have to go all the way. Hands don't have to release to the heels. Just a little release into the spine. And then bring yourself center. This time, take the right hand down onto the right block or the heel for a twisted camel. So any block, the block can be on any level. So again, push the pelvis forward and then reach the arm back. So pelvis is nice and straight. We're not twisting the left hip forward. Pelvis is straight. You're twisting through the upper body, maybe looking back towards the foot. Keep lifting through the lower back. Lift up and over, not compressing, dropping. Good. Bring yourself center and change to the other side. Hand comes down to block, push hips forward, lengthen psoas, arm reaches back, pelvis is stable. Lift up out of the lower back, open the chest a little bit more. Bring yourself center. Let's come off the knees and bring the legs in front. Bring your block between your thighs. If you don't have a block, cushion is good. Sitting nice and tall. Nice long spine. Feet are relaxed. TP twist here. So left hand onto right knee. Hand goes back behind you. Open up the chest again. Lengthening from the lower back. Pelvis remains nice and stable. And then bring yourself back into center. Take it to the other side. You use the right hand against the knee as leverage. And when you have the block between the legs, the knees stay in alignment with the pelvis, because what tends to happen is we'll bring that right hip forward. That's not where we would like to be. So make sure again that the pelvis is nice and stable in alignment. Bring yourself back into center, release the block. Soles of the feet come together, butterfly pose. Again, don't have to be too close in towards the body, but as much as you can hold on to the feet or hold on to the toes. Keep the spine nice and long. We're going to fold forward with a flat back. So we're going to fold from the hips, not curl, but press the knees gently open. Fold forward as much as you can. So spine is long here. And you may only come a little bit forward. That's okay. That's your range of motion. That's your mobility. So not compromising by rolling the shoulders forward and rounding through the upper back. Keep the spine long. So I say hold on to the feet. Use the elbows to leverage the knees out. Press forward a little bit more. Press the chest towards the feet. Good. Keep the chest open, not rounding through the upper back. A little bit more. And then bring yourself up to center. Now we round through the spine. So we draw the belly back, pelvis tucks underneath, head comes down towards the heels. And you're scooping up through the belly, rounding shoulders, letting head drop towards the feet. Notice the difference between the rounded and the flat spine in butterfly. And start to roll up through the spine. And extending the left leg forward, bringing the right leg into Janu Shirshasana. Make sure that that foot is nice and flexed. You're supporting the ankle. It's not getting floppy. And then just gently push that knee out to the side. Just release into the hip just a little bit. Sit nice and tall. Arms raise. Stretch the spine. Reach long. Reach way past the toes. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Try and draw the right shoulder downwards. Again, shoulders are level. Let the head release to the shin or to the knee. And from here, we sweep the right arm back behind us. We're going to come up into a half wild thing. Sweep, sweep, sweep. Open the chest. Push the hips forward. Gaze to the sky or to the back hand. Really stretch that left leg along the mat and push the hips forward. Nice. Release. Bring yourself back. And then lift the right leg up and over into your Ardha Matsyendrasana twist, and leg can stay out in front of you, or you can wrap it behind. Twisting towards the right thigh, elbow might come over. Lengthening through the lower back, opening through the thoracic, rounding both sit bones. Relaxing into the outer hips. And bring yourself back into center. Unravel the legs. And just give yourself a little hug over the thighs, preparing for the second side. So once more, we come into butterfly first of all. So flat back, chest leads. Elbows might press those knees out to the side. We're lengthening through the spine, keeping the chest open, not rounding through the shoulders here. Sit bones grounded, pointing in towards the earth. Press forward just a little bit more. Good. Press forward just a little bit more. You know the range of motion. You know your limitations. Lengthen the spine. Draw the abdomen back towards the lower back. And then press up. Bring yourself back up to seated. Drop the pelvis under. Curl through the belly. So you lift the pubic bone. And then the head comes down to the chin. And then the head comes forward. Scoop up through the belly this time, round through the shoulders. Keep the shoulders away from the ears as you relax the head towards the feet. Rolling up through the spine, keeping the left leg bent, right leg straight. Come into Janu Shasana. So again, engaging that foot, ankle, pressing that left knee out just a little bit, releasing into the left hip, raising the arms up as you breathe in and breathe out, lengthen. Reach the fingers way past the toes, and then the hands come down to the foot, the ankle, the calf. Relax the head down to the shin or to the knee. Draw the left shoulder down. Each breath out, let's go a little bit more. Noticing tightness where you might feel it into the knee. If it's in the knee, bring the foot forward down the leg a little bit more. And then sweep the left arm back and round. Support with the left arm. Lift the hips. Come up onto the knee. Stretch the right leg. Open the chest up to the sky. Big psoas hip flexor. Thigh stretch. Opening the chest and the back. And then sweep it back. Lifting left leg. Up and over. Finding Matsyendrasana twist. Dropping both sit bones down towards the mat. And then lift up. Get the belly free from the thigh. Elbow might come over the knee. Breathe. Lengthen on the inhale. Deepen on the exhale. Bring yourself back into center. Unravel the legs. Take them wide. And just drop the head between. You can take hold of the ankles here. Breathe through the spine. Roll up and then windscreen wiper the knees out to the side. Over to the right. Over to the left. Once more, right and left. So let's come into deer pose. So maybe sideways onto your mat or forward facing, whichever. So you've got a 90-degree bend into the front knee. And let's just drop that hip back here. So you're going to lift up the front knee, start to turn yourself again, twisting back towards the foot. And that knee, if it's deeply compressed, maybe bring the heel in or further away. You'll know where that feels the best for you. Helping to alleviate that knee pain is flexing the foot. Draw yourself back into the twist and then bring yourself forward. Back hip lifts this time. You twist the torso over the left thigh and then bring the body down. We're staying here for 5 breaths. Try to relax. It's a softer variation than pigeon. Starting to walk the hands back as you roll up. Left hand comes back behind you. We lift the right arm. And again, you've got this deep openings through the side body. You're pushing this right hip forward. Good. If you have any compression into the knees, remember flexing the foot hopefully will alleviate that, and then bring yourself back and change sides. So first time we drop through the back hip, hold on to the shin, pull yourself towards the back thigh. And then bring yourself forward, lifting up the left hip. Again, that stretches through the thigh. Bring the body all the way over the right thigh as much as you can here. And then reach over and drop the head down onto a block or the hands. Let the belly relax over the thigh. Relax the legs, the glutes. Walking the hands back towards the body. Right hand goes behind you. Left hand lifts. Deeper stretch through the side body, thigh, psoas, and hip. And then sweep it back into center this time. The legs go nice and wide into your wide leg. Forward fold. Sitting nice and tall. You can flex the feet, turning the toes up towards the sky. Again, flat back, fold from the hips. So try not to drop the shoulders forward. It's very easy to round the shoulders. Try to keep the spine nice and long. Okay, so we're dropping forward from the hips, different movement. Okay. And if that's, particularly difficult, sitting on a block alleviates a little bit of that. Go a bit further forward when I've got my hips lifted a little bit, bending the knees. Again, chest is open, not collapsing. So you're pressing the chest forward. Without compromising the roll-in of the thighs. So remember, keep the thighs nice and rolling open. Keep the sit bones grounded. You may not come too far forward. Again, that's everybody's body is different. Breathe into those inner thighs, inner groin, spine. Draw the belly back. Reach a little bit further forward. And then walk the hands back, sitting upright. This time we roll and curl, so relax the head down, and then you can start to bring yourself down. So the spine is in flexion here. Draw the belly back to the spine. Curl through the spine, drop the head. Nice. And it's about feeling what's the difference between a flat back, what does that do to the legs, the pelvis, the spine, and a rounded spine. Walk the hands back as you roll up, and then lift the knees, bring them together. And if you're sideways on, spin yourself around. Super slow roll down. I want you to really tuck the pelvis under. I want to draw down each and every vertebra of the lower lumbar section and sacral section before everything else comes down. So make yourself warm, put some socks on. We are coming straight into our Shavasana. So if you're still rolling, great. Bring the head down. Feel the spine reconnect. Lots of pelvic, lower back work in those standing balances of wide-legged forward fold and revolves, triangle, and pyramid. Roll out through the spine. And then find your relaxation in Shavasana. And you can have a bolster underneath the knees or a blanket. And as you now come back to the mat where we started the practice, just feel how your spine, how your hips, how your pelvis feel. The sensations, the experiences that came up, movement, fluid movement through the hip joints it's just one way to really get into the mobility of connective tissue, because that part of the body is so connected. If you have ankle injuries, it usually stems from somewhere in the pelvis, not necessarily in the knees. It's all connected. If you have knee injuries, it might come from the back. So thinking about your own alignment of your own body, and remember taking time each day to move your body as movement heals. Find what works best for you. Spend the time to give your body some love and some movement. I'll leave you for a few minutes of silence. And just taking a few deeper breaths now, bringing yourself back into your surroundings, into your space, back into your body on your mat. Soft and gentle movement, hands, feet, stretching, rolling. And let's return to a comfortable seat. Soles of the feet together into butterfly. Let's equal everything out for the last posture of our practice together. Hands come into the heart center. Sit nice and tall and just feel here the hips, the pelvis, the lower back. How's that feel now? And remembering any intention that you brought into practice. Freedom, fluidity, flow. When we work with the sacral area, the sacral region, and the sacral chakra, it's very feminine, very sensual practice. And always remembering to give your body thanks. It is a gift. It is the only one we have. And you take care of it each and every time you come to your mat. And I thank you. Namaste.